Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday, December the 5th, 2021. It is currently 4:33 p.m. Central Time, and you know where I am. I'm here in the empty sanctuary, Victory Baptist Church, Ovalo, Texas, where it's currently 78 degrees outside on this winter has just decided not to come to Texas this year, which is wonderful, which is great. Let it stay 80 degrees. I'm happy for that. I'm grateful for that. It's wonderful. But yes, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in West Texas. And it is, I'm supposed to say right now, welcome to a new week of Bible study. But we already did that this morning at 10 a.m. right here in the sanctuary. When it wasn't empty, when there were actually people here, we used the Sunday school hour this morning to really begin a new week of Bible study. And this week for Bible study, it's all about Isaiah chapter 8. Start reading. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to take a few minutes right now just to kind of get everyone on the same page, to kind of get everyone making sure that we know exactly what to do, give you some assignments, because I know if you don't get any assignments, you just won't know what to do with your life. You'll just be walking around aimlessly. People will just find you wandering around on the street, and they'll pull over their car and go, "What's wrong with you?" And you're like, "The Theology Central podcast, they didn't give me an assignment this week, and I just don't know what to do. I have no purpose in life. I have no meaning. I don't have anything else to do. Can you tell me? Can you give me an assignment?" Okay, maybe that's a little bit of exaggeration. Maybe I'm pretending that you care about the assignments I give you. Look, I am not naive. I know the majority of you probably think it's stupid that I hand out assignments on a podcast. I know that most of you probably think it's ridiculous. The people in my own church, they look at me like I'm ridiculous. I'll never forget, we had this new person who had joined our church. They were a college student. And they were always like, okay, because in my sermons, I used to give out lots of assignments. Okay, do this, read this, do this, do this, do this. And I did that for years and years and years and years and years. And she was just like writing, okay, I got to do this, got to do this. And I think she may have looked at everyone like, how do you do all of this? And everyone just basically kind of laughed and said, yeah, whatever. Okay, like, just at some point, you'll just realize you're not going to do all that. Now, it's a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating because I don't give the assignments out in my sermons, and I don't give the assignments out on the podcast for my benefit. I'm giving them out for your benefit because I want you engaged in the study of God's Word. And the Bible study exercise is specifically designed for that. So I know some of you may never participate. Look, that's perfectly okay. I mean, all you do is crush my spirits, discourage me, and lead me to seeking counseling. That's okay. I mean, no, you don't have to worry about it. You're not paying for the counseling. You don't have to worry about the psychological damage you do. It's okay. You just worry about yourself. Don't worry about me. You go on, save yourself. Just leave me here to die. Okay. Okay. Again, a little bit of exaggeration, but no, I give the assignments because I think they're beneficial, but I am under no illusion. Now, when I was younger, I was under the illusion that I would stand behind the pulpit and give assignment, and every person in the church would pull out a notebook, write it down, and do the assignment and call me by Wednesday to talk about it. All right. I was under that illusion. I've been in the ministry too long now. Now I'm jaded, and I understand that that's not going to happen. So I am under no illusion, but I offer the assignments for your benefit, for you to grow. And I definitely don't want, we've been talking about discipleship, and I keep wanting to do another assignment. I keep wanting to do another episode on discipleship because we're fast approaching a new year. But I keep hesitating because someone who listens mentioned how they were greatly burdened and hurt and kind of burned out maybe with some of the things they experience when it comes to discipleship, that they, and almost a very legalistic, cult-like approach to discipleship. So I've taken some time to kind of like, okay, how do we approach discipleship in a way that's more grace-based and not legalistic based. And I don't know if I have a good explanation yet, but they mentioning it really bothered me because that's the last thing I want to do. And the last thing I want to do here for the Bible study exercises, I don't want this to become a legalistic thing, right? I want it to become a source of joy and fun and excitement that you get to study God's word, not that you have to. So always feel free to participate and feel free to stop participating whenever you want. Just know that whenever you want to, the Bible study exercise is going to be right here. In fact, I'm doubling down on this effort in 2022. I am going all in 2022. We're not going to give up on this. We're gonna because I think it's such an important thing that we're doing here on this podcast because we need to get people studying God's word. So that's kind of just going off in a lot of different directions there. But the point is, this week it's Isaiah chapter 8. It's Isaiah chapter 8. It's Isaiah chapter 8. So here are your assignments. Assignment number 1, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. I want you to spend all week reading Isaiah chapter 8. It's only 22 verses. Live in Isaiah chapter 8. If you have the Blue Letter Bible app, go to Isaiah chapter 8, click on verse 1, a little drop-down menu will come and hit listen to the chapter. One of the options is listen to the chapter 7 times. Just listen to it 7 times. If you can't read it, listen to it, live in Isaiah chapter 8. Live in it. Know chapter 8. And as you're reading chapter 8, just think of how it may connect to chapter 7. And if you listen to the sermon this morning, we went back through chapter 7 and we got through chapter 8, verses 1 through 4. I wanted to get through chapter 8, verses 1 through 10. That was the plan. It did not happen because, well, I never can do what I'm supposed to do in a sermon, ever. Okay, never. Okay, so we're supposed to finish the doctrine of election this morning and our sermon on Romans 8, and we didn't accomplish that either. So basically, all of my sermons are simply examples of my failure. That's what all of my sermons are, examples of my failure. That's not a great legacy to leave behind, but that's what they are. Okay, so this week, did I say Isaiah chapter 8? We're studying Romans 8. We're in Isaiah 8. Okay, if I messed that up, I apologize. Isaiah chapter 8, read it. Then outline the chapter. Now, I can give you a possible outline. I'll just throw this one out there. Here's a possible outline. Isaiah chapter 8, verses 1 through 10, 2 rivers. Isaiah 11 through 15, 2 fears. Isaiah chapter 8, verses 16 through 22, 2 authorities. That's what. Now, I've been playing around with that one, but I think maybe there's another way to look at it. Isaiah chapter 8, I would say Isaiah chapter 8, verses 1 through 4, 2 kings. Isaiah chapter 8, 5 through, where do we want to stop it? 5 through 10, 2 rivers. Then Isaiah 8, 11 through 15, 2 fears. And then Isaiah 8, 16 through 22, 2 authorities. So 2 kings, 2 rivers, 2 fears, 2 authorities. I don't know if that works. You can mess around with it, because originally I had 2. Now I think originally I saw 2 rivers, verses 1 through 10 from Walk with the Word by Warren W. Wiersbe. But then I was like, wait, he talks about the 2 kings before the 2 rivers. He talks about the 2 kings before the 2 rivers. So 2 kings, 2 rivers, 11 through 15, the 2 fears, and then the 2 authorities, 16 through 22. You can look at it and see what you think, or you may come up with your own. That's okay. Just whatever. Remember, outline is observational, not interpretive. Do not add an interpretation in your outline, making sure it's just observation. So read it, outline it, and then you have a very simple job in front of you. All right? I'm not going to say anything about verses 1 through 4, since we spent an hour this morning, maybe an hour plus this morning, working on that. Well, we spent an hour plus working on chapter 7 and chapter 8, verses 1 through 4. Here's what I want you to focus on, all right? Isaiah chapter 8, verse 5, the Lord spake also unto me again, saying, so God speaks to Isaiah, and one more time, more revelation he's giving him. For as much as this people, all right, here's question number one. What people is that referring to? Does that refer to the northern kingdom, Israel? Does that refer to the southern kingdom, Judah? Commentaries don't agree. For as much as this people, does it refer to both Israel and Judah? All right, just figure that out. So read the chapter, outline it. I've given you a possible outline. Then what I want you to do is identify who, for as much as this people, who is this people? Then refresh for as much as the people refuseth the waters of Shialoa that go softly and rejoice, and Rezin and Remaliah's son, now therefore, behold, the Lord bringeth upon them the waters of the river. So here's what I want you to do. All right. I want you to look up everything you can find, anything you can find on Shialoa. All right. Or Shialoa. Now, Shialoa. Yeah. Okay. I want you to look up everything about the waters of Shialoa. I want you to look that up. I want you to identify everything you can about this river, these waters. Where do they originate? What's the significance of them? I want you to find that. And then what I want you to do is in the next verse, it says the river. Almost every commentary agrees that's referring to the Euphrates. So I want you to compare the two rivers, right? I want you to compare. I want you to look up everything you can about both, right? Because they refuse the one. And because they refuse the other one is in a sense going to come flowing over. It's going to be like a flood. You refuse this one, you're going to get the other. Now, I think we already know what the Euphrates is probably going to obviously symbolize. That one should be very simple. But what's the first one? All right. So let's go through your assignments again. All right. Very simple, very straightforward, right? Very simple, very straightforward. Read it over and over. Read chapter 8 over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right. Outline it. I've already given you a possible working outline, at least to get you thinking. All right. Then verse 6. Did I say Romans? Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8. Why am I saying Romans? Isaiah chapter 8. All right. Read it over and over and over and over again. All right. Then outline it. Then, and Isaiah chapter 8, verse 6. Oh, don't know why I'm doing that. For as much as this people, identify this people. Now, you're saying, well, how do I identify this people? You know what you can do? You can just look up 4, 5, 6 commentaries and just see the arguments for both. Just be able to summarize. Well, some people say it's Israel. Some people say it's Judah. Some people say it's both. Just at least be aware of the different arguments. All right. Then we have refuseth the waters of Shialoa that go softly and rejoice, and Rezin and Remaliah's son. Now therefore, behold, the Lord bringeth upon them the waters of the river. Right. And that's Euphrates. I don't think there's any question there. That is the Euphrates. Everyone acknowledges that. There's no question there. Everyone is very, very aware of that. All right. And I'm going to do something here. Probably shouldn't, but I'm going to do something here. Just to show you how easy this is. Opening up the Blue Letter Bible app. I'm going to click on Isaiah just so that you see this, because I want more people to use this feature. Go to Isaiah chapter 8. I click on verse 1. A drop-down menu comes down. You'll see in the middle, a little below the middle, Audio Bible, start KJV narrated audio, and then listen to chapter.
Chapter 8. Moreover, the Lord said unto me, Take thee a great roll, and write in it with a man's pen concerning Meher-Shalal-Hashbaz. And I took unto me faithful witnesses to record, Uriah the priest, and Zechariah the son of Jeberechiah. And I went unto the prophetess, and she conceived and bare a son. Then said the Lord to me, Call his name Meher-Shalal-Hashbaz. For before the child shall have knowledge to cry, My father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria shall be taken away before the king of Assyria. The Lord spake also unto me again, saying, Forasmuch as this people refuseth the waters of Shialoa that go softly, and rejoice in Rezin and Remaliah's son.
There you have it. Very simple. And it's not Shiloh, Shialoa, I think is how he pronounced it. Shialoa, all right? I think I was saying Shiloh. Shialoa, there you go. That's another reason I wanted to listen to it. Yeah. I'm not going to pretend to be smart because I knew I was saying it incorrectly. Shialoa, that sounds, for some, I want to say Shiloh. There's a reason I want to say Shiloh, but Shialoa, all right, I think that makes more sense based on how it looks. But I want to, for some reason, I want to say Shiloh. But there's a reason. I think there's a reason. I think I'm trying to connect something where I probably shouldn't. So I won't offer any thoughts right there. You may know what I'm thinking, but I'm not going to offer it right there. But the people refuse the waters of Shialoa. And then ultimately, he's going to bring upon them the waters of the river. And that river, let me make it very clear, I can almost guarantee you it's the Euphrates. The Euphrates is referred to as the river. And you can, if you disagree that it's the Euphrates, you can let me know. If you find different sources that say something different, let me know. But I want you to study the two. At least Shialoa and Euphrates, look them both up. And I think the Euphrates, it makes sense. I think you can just look up a couple of things about the Euphrates and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Shialoa, again, I want to say Shiloh so bad. Shialoa, I think when you start reading about it, I think it's going to become pretty obvious. Let me do something really quick here. Again, Bible study exercise, this is the way this is supposed to work. Remember, it's not, I do a little bit of teaching and I'll leave a lot for you to do. I haven't even looked at this up. Let's see. Is there a reference here? Shialoa. Let me see here. P-A-C-R. Let me see here. There's Shechem. Give me 1 second here. I'm looking. Okay. Let me look here. I'm looking. Give me 1 second. I want to see if there's an entry here. Let's see here. No, I'm not finding it yet. No. Okay, yeah. Shialoa. Different ways of possibly saying it. This one doesn't give a lot of information here. The waters of Shialoa, a water channel in Jerusalem, carrying water from the spring of Gihon to the lower pool of Siloam. All right, so Shialoa. They don't give it comes from Jerusalem. Is there significance from there? Is there something significant? Some of the commentaries go into far greater detail. But it's two rivers here, right? It's like they're refusing one, Shialoa. They're refusing that, but they're going to get the Euphrates. To me, because they're refusing that one has to have a little bit more meaning than just, we refuse the waters. It obviously the river, if it represents the Assyrians, then clearly Shialoa represents something as well. And it flows from Jerusalem. Where does it originate? There's a couple of interesting things there that you may find, and you can look that up. The Bible Dictionary does not offer a lot of. I was hoping they were going to offer a lot more, but they don't go in great detail. Maybe the only place it'd be interesting is it the only place that's mentioned? That's something to look at. It's the only place that's mentioned. Or is it mentioned here by that name, but it's also known by a different name somewhere else? That's something else. Remember, I'm not trying to give you all the answers, all right? So here we go. Read Isaiah chapter 8 over and over and over. I just showed you how easy it is to listen to it in the Blue Letter Bible app. I had ulterior motives for doing that, but that's okay. All right? listen to it, then outline it. I've already done a little bit of that work for you. Figure out, and then in Isaiah 8:6, for as much as this people refuseth the waters, who are the ones refusing the water? Is it Israel and Judah? Did they both refuse the waters? Did they both? All right. And the waters of Shialoa, all right, that go softly and rejoice in Rezin and Remaliah's son. Now, therefore, behold, the Lord bringeth upon them the waters of the river, strong and many, even the king of Assyria, which clearly it's referencing the Assyrians. The river is, which is the Euphrates. I believe there's no question about it. Shialoa is, well, it's a water that starts in Jerusalem. What's the significance? Obviously, it's symbolic, right? You reject this river, but you want the other river. I want to give more away, but I'll just leave it there. All right. There is your assignment this week. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Okay. If you do any extra work, let me know. Yeah, we have a lot more to do, but that at least gets you started. And we can come back to this and Tuesday, Monday, whenever the next time I'm here, and we can do a little bit more work. And again, what really determines what we do is what you do, right? Your feedback, you doing the assignments is very beneficial as well. All right. I don't know what else to say other than that. There you go. Enjoy, study, read. Let's talk about it. Let's see what lessons we can learn from it. I think we learned a lot of very powerful practical lessons in chapter 7. I really, really do. We talked about those this morning. And I think that there's probably a lot of good, powerful, practical lessons in chapter 8 as well. And maybe them refusing this river is where we'll find a very important practical lesson once we really understand these two rivers. All right, there you go. I'll stop right there. You can email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. All right, and yeah, there you have it. I don't know what else to say. Enjoy, and I can't wait to hear from you, and hopefully you have a great week of study. God bless.